I'm Linton, and we're going to be having a little movie here. The name is Most Dreaded Terror, uh, and I'm going to teach you some things. I hope to have a series of such videos, um, and I hope for some time you're going to learn something new every time. This will be the first one. Um, so over here, that's an eagle. Um, I'm excited about doing this. Don't want to turn you off by too much levity, but I don't want to depress you by being too grim. So it's a narrow balance, and I'm quite nervous that I may not get it right. The title's fun. You could, if you say most dreaded terror, it comes out most dreaded error, and that's kind of what we're dealing with, and that's what I'll try to correct. Okay. Uh, Step one, item one, non-standard definition of baby, deliberately inflammatory. Um, when a sperm touches an egg, at that moment you're defined the DNA and other um, uh, epigenetic markers and intracellular machinery to make an individual. Before that happens, um, uh, it's not a person because it might be a different sperm that approaches. After that happens, anything that prevents that individual, that person, now it's the egg and sperm have touched, that's a person. Anything keeps that person from developing the point where it can say, I'm not a baby any longer, you've killed a baby. Pause a moment here. There. Take it as obvious we can all agree that a woman has total rights over her own ova, man over his sperm, um, and nothing should interfere with her right of refusal over what happens to her ova. Anything that interferes with that makes me very unhappy. What's worse, it makes Kunigunda here unhappy. And when Kunigunda is unhappy, everybody's unhappy. All right, that was levity. Um, but once there's a person, once egg has touched sperm and specified a person, everybody in the world has a stake. Before that, only she has a stake. After that instant, when the sperm and egg touch, is there now a person? You can now define one. And good chance it will develop. Okay, easy place. What I'm explaining is like a comment. There are many ways to get into a comment. We're going to start with incest because I think we can again get broad agreement on incest. It's bad. We don't like incest. Um, the That's instinctive. Patrick Bateson, we'll probably get back to him, showed that in quail, birds are less interested in their siblings and those they hatched with. Um, Incest produces reduced fertility, and that means it kills babies. Remember what we said? It's a baby when egg meets sperm. And if you've done something that reduces that fertility, like you've indulged in incest over multiple generations, there's going to be reduced fertility, and that means you're killing babies. So, bad, 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 bad. Well, what's the mechanism? What is the way incest or inbreeding damages babies? Usual explanation is the genes perform a bunch of functions, can be damaged by mutations since there are 22 pairs of chromosomes, ignoring sex chromosome, one from each parent, and those chromosomes hold the genes and a bunch of other stuff. Two ruined genes, the same individual, very bad. In a small population, closely related couples, two ruined genes are more likely than in a large population to get together and produce a bad outcome. This accumulates over multiple generations until the line dies out. Now then, points 5 and 6. Let's see here. Get a finger over there. No, I can't. Okay, there's point 5. There's point 6. Those are true enough, but they are a distraction. Keep you from looking closely at point 7. Let's do just that. We'll look at it. Accumulates over multiple generations. Imagine a population of just 4, 2 males, 2 females. Each of the 4 chromosomes held by the males can be matched at random with any of the 4 held by the females. You get one of each kind of chromosome from each parent, but not pattern, the other being discarded. So the possibilities are now these are 2 females, so these two genes are are one female, and these 2 are the other. And this is 2 males. These 2 chromosomes, a male, 2 and a female. These are all the possible combinations of that chromosome, 4 by 4 of 16. All right, everybody gets 2 good chromosomes, we're happy. Now assume there are 2 bad chromosomes in the population, mutations. One among the males, one among the females. They can be eliminated at random by something called genetic drift, or non-randomly by something called selection. We'll start with genetic drift. Every generation for every chromosome that's passed on was eliminated at random. It's more complicated. We go to simplification. Ignoring now the effects of chromosomes, each bad one has a 50-50 chance of being eliminated. That means one of the 2, remember there's a bad one and a bad one. One of those 2, on average, since we're eliminating 50-50, gets eliminated in the first generation. The other one, on average, gets a 50-50 chance each generation, which is going to average out to 2 generations. Got to throw a coin twice on average to get 1 hit. So that's a total of 3 generations to have a to eliminate those 2 bad chromosomes. Okay, now we'll look at a population twice as big, 4 females, 4 males, right? And now we've got 2 bad chromosomes here, 2 bad chromosomes, 2, 4 genetic drift eliminates half of them because they just didn't happen to be the one that was chosen in that combination. This is all the possible combinations. So those 1, 2, 3, 4 are now 2. And we have 4 bad generations to get rid of. It's going to take longer. Half eliminated the first generation, leaving 2. Have 2 left, which takes 3 generations like it did before. So it took 4 generations to eliminate all these 4 bad chromosomes by genetic drift, purely at random. So a small population will clear itself, purge itself of rare mutations faster than a large population. Of course, we had twice as many bad mutations because the population was twice as big here. But the small one was able to clear itself faster than the large one. So genetic drift is not the cause of incest being a bad thing. Okay, question, what happens to bad genes because of their lack of function, because they're bad? Small population, there's a bad gene, there's an individual with both bad genes. That's not viable. We're going to hold the population constant. This bad chromosome has a 1 in 4 chance of matching a bad male chromosome, and that on average takes 4 generations. So this size population takes 4 generations to get rid of the the bad chromosome by selection, by observing it not function. Notice that's in this particular case not as fast as genetic drift. Okay, so after 4 generations, population size is constant. We're going to have all good chromosomes. Remember, 1 in 4 chance that they'll match. 4 generations, uh, and we're back to everything's good. Now we do the same thing with the big population. There's a bad gene, there's a bad gene, bad gene, bad gene. We're talking about this bad gene, all right? The female bad gene in red has 2 chances out of 8 of matching a bad male gene, which is a 1 in 4 chance. It should take 4 generations to remove this pair of bad genes. Bad, bad. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 out of 2 into 8 4 times. It's going to take 4 generations to eliminate that bad gene by matching it up with one of those. And we assume we don't get, double match. That's going to be unlikely. All right, now then we're left with, we've cleared out 2. We're left with 2 more, this one and this one. And the chance is 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 8, 1 in 8. Meaning gene will have a 1 in 8 chance of matching a bad gene. That's going to take 8 generations. So on an average, we had 2 before, and now we've got 8 more. So it takes 10 generations to remove the bad genes from a large population compared with 4 for the smaller. So given the mutation rate per individual is identical in the 2 populations, a smaller population does a better job of dealing with bad mutations by genetic drift or by selection against those mutations. There's a lot of complicating factors. Things are different from the classical pattern, but the bottom line is clear. The idea that bad mutations accumulate in small populations is just not true. When I was in college eons ago, the genetics professor gave us a quiz, and one of the questions was, is there any advantage at all in inbreeding? And I wrote, well, you never say never. So I said, yes. Okay. And I scratched my head and came up with basically this logic, eliminating bad mutations by selection. Well, he graded me wrong and went afterwards and said, but I'm right. And so we went through some of this. And he said, well, okay, you're right. But, and then he went sincere on me. Be on your guard when someone sounds sincere. He said, our institutions are bursting at the seams from all the bad results of matching bad genes. So you couldn't actually say, well, let's just inbreed a little bit and then we'll clear out some of those bad genes and now we'll stop inbreeding. No, he said, no, we're just bursting the seams from inbreeding and its bad consequences, matching up bad genes. Guess what? At that time, it was a long time ago, the overwhelming majority of people who were in institutions were there because of RH incompatibility, which is from mixing genes. Okay, just because the advertised reason for incest is not true doesn't mean incest is not bad. So don't say, oh, well, incest can't be that bad. It doesn't cause bad genes to pile up. That doesn't follow. Incest kills babies right along. The mechanism's just not genes. Take a long time, but hopefully over the next year or so I'll be able to lay out the mechanism. And don't go thinking, oh, I'm not worried about inbreeding. We just avoid it. But if you don't know the mechanism, you don't know how to avoid that mechanism. My mother's attitude was, it's okay to be scared, it's okay to run away, never run scared. put that another way. I don't know anything about lions, but I've heard this story. It's a cautionary tale. Two lions are hunting. The female gets the male to lie down in some grass. He finds a nice juicy antelope and approaches it just enough to be annoying. So the antelope tends to walk away from her rather than toward her. He's edging slowly toward the male, hiding in the grass. Well, the male sees all these hooves and horns coming toward him slowly. Eventually, his nerve cracks. He stands up and roars. The antelope bolts away, only to be pulled down by the lioness, never unscared. The antelope did not understand that this was a two-edged trap, just ran away from the immediate threat. Don't run scared. Think when you're scared. Uh, you've got to understand the mechanism by which incest kills babies, or you have no better chance than the antelope of surviving. And we will be going into that. If you want to get to the bottom line, hurry, go to nobabies.net and start reading summaries and papers and source code. Um, but I will try to go over the ideas bit by bit. Well, all the best. Um, hope things go well with you. Hope I'm able to make something that's clear enough for you to follow. You can always replay the show as much as you want to. I hope it'll make it light enough so you can endure it and not be totally driven away by despair, but serious enough so you'll take it seriously. Okay. Good day. This is the 21st of March. No, 21st of January 2019 at 2018. You're not going to believe anything I say now, are you? Anyway, but this is an ancient horror we're talking about. The date to day doesn't really make any difference at all.